Hi, and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, the world is now covered in white coal stuff, and I have had to stop building on the greenhouse, mainly because my next step is the roof, and the ground cover is really slippery. I'm not interested in taking a fall. So I'm pausing the greenhouse for now until this snow thaws, hopefully just a week or two, and focusing on a different project that's not really homestead related, but it is a home build. I'm rebuilding our family camper van for the third time, I think it is now. So that's going to be what I'm focusing on now a little while. You are very welcome to tag along on that. And if you only want to watch greenhouse build videos or homestead related content, subscribe and click on the notification bell so you get a notification and you can see what type of video it is that I have uploaded. But let's get to the camper van. So this is our camper van. It's a 2014 Mercedes Sprinter. It's gas powered, so it's a bit different. I have ripped out the interior, so I need to finish building that before the inspection needs to be done, because the permit for the gas tanks are 15 months, and I don't want to pay for a new one if I can do the inspection before that. So before we entered the car, I thought I'd tell you a bit about our history with camper vans, or vans we built ourselves. I didn't even know there was a camper van community back in 2015 when I was a mail carrier. I usually had leggings under shorts when delivering mail, but that afternoon got really, really hot. So I climbed in the back of my post truck and took off the shorts, took off the leggings, put the shorts back on. And while I was sitting back there, I thought, you could probably build a camper in this area. And that car was a Renault Kangoo. This is our third van. Our first van was in the beginning of 2018, and it was a small Renault Kangoo. We just had quite a tall bed frame because we built over the wheel arches. And that summer was also one of the hottest summers in Sweden in a long while. In the summer 2019, I had lowered the bed so it wrapped around the wheel arches so we could actually sit up in bed, which was good because that summer kind of rained away, so we needed to be able to sit in the car. By 2020, we knew we wanted kids, so we upgraded to a Renault Traffic, a 9-seater where we could remove 2 rows. So I built a couple of different versions of the camper equipment for that one that was removable, so we didn't need to register it as a camper van. 2023 was the year where I was pregnant with our youngest, and we tried a modification where we'd be able to use the old car by keeping an additional row of seats in. That trip rained a lot. The standing sort of folded over, exchanging a diaper on a 2-year-old. I said then and there, we need a van where we can stand up. And on that trip, we actually found this one. And a couple of weeks later, we had exchanged ours and paid the difference for this one. Since then, we had 2 summers with this car. I've rebuilt the bed a couple of times, but this time I'm rebuilding the entire interior. This bus used to be owned by Skånetrafiken, which drives buses in the south of Sweden, as well as handicap buses. And that was one of those. So we have this passage into our car. That's not standard for the Sprinter. So the driver sits alone and has no seats next to him. And as you can see, we also don't have a sliding door, but that's not really an issue since we have a good way in here. I've ripped out quite a bit in this car. We used to have the kitchen back here and the bathroom back here. This wall was all the way and the bed was up here. And the kids' beds were on top of each other here. That's the latest version. I've done a couple of versions of the beds. The issue was we had nowhere to sit and eat where we didn't have to rearrange the bed or sit outside no matter the weather or sort of sit in the seats a bit crouched, because we used to have 2 seats here and 1 seat on this side, and you can't turn the driver's seat because the handbrake is attached to the floor or through the floor. You could probably do it. I don't know what the cost would be to do it, and I'm not interested in finding out, to be honest. So I ripped out a lot, as you can see, pretty much everything except that top cabinet and the side of the divider wall and the ceiling, of course. This floor has tracks, and these chairs can be placed in either direction. So the plan is to have 2 chairs here. I have extra chairs in the garage and 2 chairs here. And then I have this Lagoon table mount. So I'm putting the wall mount here so we can remove the table when we're driving and we can put it back when we are parked. It's really hard to film in such a small space. In this new design, and I haven't locked the chairs in place yet because I'm not exactly sure on where they will end up. So, and they are a pain to lock and unlock, but they will be approximately where they are right now. And this is gonna be a bit narrow, but it was before, so we're good on that front. Back here, over the wheel arches, our bed will be. We sleep in this direction because neither my husband nor I are very tall, which is great because it's a space saver. Our old bed was 120 centimeters wide. Our new one will be 140, so that's nice with some extra. Essentially ending somewhere behind the seats. I'm not sure exactly where they will end up. Something that made me happy is when we pulled down the old wall. It's been here for 2 whole years. I was a bit worried, mold and all of those things, but there was no damage behind at all, and it's been outside year-round. It's not been stored indoors during the winter, so I'm not really worried about the method I used. I think that's going to be fine. As you can see, we haven't pulled all of the plastic off the walls because there's a heating system that we don't want to mess with. We built it in the last time and it worked fine, so we're building it in this time as well. But I'm not messing with this system. Essentially, we aren't using the back door anymore as an entrance and exit, which we used to do before. We are solely gonna use the side door up front, and we will be building a bunk bed here, 140 centimeter wide, 2 beds, and the bottom bed will be just as close to the wheel arches as possible to make it possible for the kids to sit up somewhat in their bed as well. Underneath, we will have storage that we will access from the back doors, so we can put in our folding table, our tent, our chairs, our extra gas stove, and so on. So we're placing our chemical toilet here. So I'm building a very small bathroom, just big enough for the toilet and your legs, essentially. The kitchen has moved up here. So I have this cabinet. It's an IKEA cabinet, actually. I will be putting sliders on the bottom shelf here for our electric cooler, and then a second shelf for water for a sink. And then I have foldable brackets. We can extend this one out a bit as well, so you can have a bigger work surface. I also have a bit of leftover stuff from the old interior here as well, and the old insulation. I'm keeping it because I might need some of it. So the first thing I need to do here is I need to build this closed as good as I can, the ceiling. So I'm gonna put up some of my leftover insulation. I'm going to see if I carefully cut this away here. Depends on how it's attached over by the fan. And luckily I have a couple of extra of these, so fix that one up. Might start on this side, but I might also give myself something a bit fun to do and start on the wall for the bathroom. We'll see. Okay, so that was sort of a mess. This one is actually pretty straight, the actual material. Those two are twisted, and I couldn't get the measurements to actually work. So what I ended up doing is measuring out these and making sure that they are the same. Sorry, my pointing is off here. So that they are the same, and then I pretty much forced the twisted one. This one is the worst. To fit, and then I will adjust where they are attached based on the finished wall instead. Maybe it would have been a good idea to actually build the wall outside of the van and bring it in, but sometimes the height difference, even from one end of a small wall to the other, is enough that I would have to take it apart a bunch of times. So we're building it like this, and then I'm basing the placement on the door. I'm gonna make sure that the space for the door is the same at the top and at the bottom. So I'm moving the wall based on that. Hopefully it still fits with this one, otherwise I'm gonna have to adjust that one as well. And I have placed all of the brackets in a way where I can adjust from the inside as well if I end up realizing something is off when the walls are pretty much finished from the outside. As you can see, I brought in the chemical toilet. I have a tendency to build things and realize at the end that it doesn't fit. So now I've tried. It fits. I can actually get it through the door intact. You can split it, as you can probably see, in two. So I could always pick up the top and then the bottom and angle them out, but I could actually get the entire toilet in, which was nice. My next step is to go and get some more of this paneling. I'm gonna try to get away with just one package. That's 6 pieces. They're not long enough to split into 2, so I have a bit of waste for each. But it's not going to be waste because I'm going to use it to fix this hole. If I have to use 2 boards in one place to fix it, I will, because it's probably not going to be very visible afterwards. Bed is going here. If there's any space here, it's going to be very little, like 10 centimeters. I think that's it for this update. It's very cold outside, or not very cold in degrees, but it's windy and a very wet kind of cold, so it hurts my hands working outside. So I will catch you next week, and have a great week.